Good morning, everybody. Thank you very much for joining the One Championship Global Media Conference Call. I'm here with flyweight champion of the world, Adriano Moraes, One Championship World Grand Prix champion, Demetrious Johnson, also legendary two-time world champion, Eddie Alvarez, number 2 ranked, Iuri Lapiscus, lightweight division. Today, we're here to announce something very exciting. We are going to debut in prime time in the U.S. With a new series called One on TNT, Prime Time in the U.S., followed by, right after AEW on Wednesdays. We kick it off with every week in April on Wednesday, 9 p.m. prelims on Bleacher Report and BR Live. And then the main card goes to TNT primetime to all American fans. And we're really excited because this is the first time that American fans get to really witness a very unique brand of martial arts. We have over 150 world champions across various martial arts, showcasing a variety of styles, an exciting format, very much Asian production value, something that American fans have not seen in a long time. So we're very excited with our Values, Heroes, and Stories approach. April 7th, we kick it off with the main event. One flyweight champion of the world, Adriano Moraes, 18-3, versus Demetrious Johnson, arguably the greatest of all time, pound for pound. 30 wins and 3 losses. He won the One Flyweight World Grand Prix last year. He definitely had the toughest fights of his entire career in One Championship. Many fights took him to the limit. And now he's at the top of the heat as a number 1 contender to compete against Adriano for all the marbles. We also have Eddie Alvarez. I'm so excited for Eddie's return. You know, this COVID thing is really threw us a little bit for a little bit of a wild turn, but we're back in action full blast in 2021, and I hope we're going to see Eddie fight 3-4 times this year as he goes for a title run. Eddie's going to try to become the very first person to have 3 world title belts from all the 3 major global organizations, the other 2 plus 1 championship. He first has to break into the top 5 rankings, as done by the media out here in Asia, to compete against Iuri Lapiscus, who is the number 2 ranked lightweight in One Championship. It's going to be an explosive matchup between 2 KO artists, very explosive fighters with phenomenal ground game. So I think it's going to be a real treat for fans. That's going to, and I'll be announcing also the other fights on April 7th. For April 7th, rather. But on One on TNT 2, the following week, will be Christian Lee, lightweight world champion, will defend his title against Timofey Nastyukhin, the number 3 ranked lightweight. Timofey is the person, as you might recall, who competed against Eddie and gave Eddie a first-round KO loss, of which, of course, Eddie rebounded very quickly with a win over Edward Falayan. But that's going to be another explosive fight. Again, we'll announce more fights on that card. And the week after that is going to be Aung Sang versus Vitaly Bigdash 3, a trilogy fight between 2 former middleweight world champions at One Championship. KO artists again, and it's going to be a slugfest. And for for One on TNT 4, I'll be making announcements shortly in the coming weeks. Of course, obviously announcing the full cards as well. Again, super excited for our primetime debut in America. This is a long time coming. When Turner and One Championship first announced our partnership, this was always the plan, to start broadcasting on TNT and in primetime. And it took a while to get momentum, and then obviously COVID hit, and it really did take us for a left turn last year. But as I said, we're back in full force, and we expect to put on some incredible fights for the American fans and really introduce our brand of martial arts. With that, I'd like to open it up to questions, whether it's to the athletes or to myself. Again, I'm just going to repeat the basic facts. I'm announcing U.S. primetime, one on TNT. We'll kick it off in the month of April every Wednesday after AEW, the hit wrestling show on TNT. And it kicks off with 9 p.m. prelims on Bleacher and BR Live. And then it goes into main card TNT primetime. With that, I'm going to kick it off to any questions to the athletes or to myself. Obviously, this is huge news for American fans.
Thank you, Chatri. So, to our media fans, it's your chance to ask your question. If you have any questions, I just want to elaborate on the protocol.
I guess whoever's the host, can we open up for Q&A?
Yes.
The host is on mute.
So we will raise your hands when I read your name. The moderator will unmute you, and then you can unmute yourself and ask the question. So just kindly restrict yourself to 2 questions at a time, just to make sure everyone has a chance. I will start with Gabriel Gonzalez.
Hello, Chatri. Can you hear me now?
Yes, I can. Thank you.
Okay, just checking. Chatri, my first question, just was there anything in particular that inspired just this bigger push to create the series more on TNT for the American audience? Obviously, we know that COVID slowed down one holding an event in the United States. So was there anything about that led to one wanting to still kind of make their mark and push more to the American market?
No, when Turner One Championship struck this partnership, the plan was always to expand our partnership and eventually fully utilize, or rather take advantage of the opportunity of TNT's wide reach. I think 90 million homes across America, and they've done a great job with AEW, and they really want to pair up AEW with One Championship, and I think it's going to be great for combat sports fans and wrestling fans alike. It's something new and fresh and never seen before in the States. Of course, we do have the familiar legendary names like a DJ or an Eddie Alvarez. But what you're going to see is, as I said, One Championship has 550 athletes, but 150 of the athletes are world champions across various martial arts. And you will see a whole plethora of different martial arts competitions, whether it's mixed martial arts, Muay Thai, kickboxing, submission grappling, and the list goes on. But also you get to see the excitement of the single discipline world champions who then compete in mixed martial arts. So there's a whole bunch of new exciting stuff that American fans have never seen. And of course, whether you talk to Renzo Gracie or Eddie Bravo or Joe Rogan, anyone who's seen a One Championship event, they'll tell you that, our production values are off the charts and something American fans have never seen before. So we're really excited to bring our brand of martial arts to the States. Again, this is a long time coming. I think the one on TNT series, was supposed to happen a lot earlier. When we first announced the partnership, we did say that the plan was for One Championship to be on TNT in prime time, but it just took a while to get things started because of COVID and whatnot.
My second question, I think it's no coincidence that we do have both DJ and Eddie on the same card. We do know that with so many athletes, obviously more exposure, they will get more familiar to the fan base in the United States. But I want to ask, just how important is it having guys like a DJ and an Eddie in terms of helping to grow and bring in those fans so they can see the rest of the roster at one?
No, I mean, definitely. Here's the thing. I genuinely believe we have the world's greatest roster of martial arts world champions, bar none, full stop. Single discipline or mixed martial arts. We would put our world champions against any of the other 2 global organizations' world champions, in a heartbeat. But we're out here in Asia, and people just don't know that our roster is full of monster and killers. And it's I don't think it's a coincidence that many of the former UFC athletes, when they've come over here, they've all lost. I think only DJ has managed to go, arrive and come into One Championship unscathed and eke out victories. But he's had some of the toughest fights of his career in One Championship. And again, whether it's Eddie or whether it's Yushin Okami, Akiyama. There's a bunch of former UFC fighters who come into one championship and lost. And as Eddie will tell you, the lightweight division in one championship is insanely deep. And just because American fans haven't heard the names does not mean these guys haven't been doing martial arts their entire lives and been competing in one championship, the world's largest stage of martial arts. And this is going to be a great introduction for American fans, for sure. And of course, obviously it helps to have Eddie's story. He wants to be the first person and only person to win 3 world titles in 3 of the biggest global organizations in the world. And that's a fairy tale story right there. But he's got to go through a lineup of monsters and killers. And for Adriano, he's 18-3, just an incredible athlete. What makes him legitimately, I believe, DJ's biggest threat and toughest opponent ever in DJ's career is because Adriano is huge for his size, very tall, very long, and very lanky. He's a very unorthodox striker and a jiu-jitsu black belt. And he has no weaknesses, and so DJ has his hands full, as he has had already since he's come in. But again, I'm really excited to showcase, our unique brand of martial arts to American fans for the first time in prime time on a regular basis. And one on TNT, this April version, a series of events rather, is just the beginning.
Thank you, Chatri.
Thank you, Chatri. Our next question is from Jim Barceloni from Miami Herald. Jim, please.
Okay, can you hear me, Chatri?
Yes, I can, Jim.
Awesome. Thank you so much. Hey, this is so exciting. I'm wondering, Chatri, Wednesday nights, you've got All Elite Wrestling as the lead-in. They've been doing very good numbers. It's a very exciting new group. And then you have Combat Sports with One following. I'm wondering just, what are your thoughts of being Wednesday night, having All Elite Wrestling, and then One, and trying to get their fan base into it? It's a combat sports type of night, and the importance of having it with All Elite Wrestling on TNT.
Right. Well, so I think it's Turner's genius, genuinely. The leadership team at Turner obviously launched AEW to much success, and their idea is to combine AEW and One to create a phenomenal Wednesday night on free TV, terrestrial TV for all Americans to watch and enjoy. So I think it's a stroke of brilliance by the senior management team at Turner, and we're going to go all in and do our part on TNT, on Bleacher, and on BR Live, and just as they are as well. So again, this is a long time coming. Like I said, when we first announced the partnership, this was always the intent, to expand and get on TNT, and unfortunately, we just a series of things just happened, and just really, again, COVID really set us back in a big way in terms of delay. But again, we're here today, and I'm super excited.
I'm also curious, Chatri, have you met Tony Khan of All Elite Wrestling and talked to him? Can we see any crossover per se with whether it be just promoting each other, or even there's a Jake Hager who fights for Bellator. He also wrestles for All Elite Wrestling. Might we see even MMA fighters or pro wrestlers? I know they're 2 different entities per se, but still, any dealings with one another and doing some crossover there?
Definitely. I have not spoken to Tony yet, but I know that our teams are talking, and I know athletes have already been, like I know Vitor Belfort, for example, has already gone to AEW, et cetera, and whatnot. And so I think you're going to see a lot of crossover stuff and a lot of co-marketing and a lot of, we bring a very unique fan base, and I think we bring something very fresh, exciting, and brand new, literally completely brand new from anything. I mean, I'll give you an example, right? On April 7th, you're going to see, a Muay Thai world champion compete in Muay Thai with 4-ounce gloves. Legitimately one of the hottest strikers on the planet, full stop. No one's ever heard of him in America, but when they see him, they will know. Rotang is literally one of the hottest strikers in the world, a wrecking ball machine. And then follow, we're going to have Eddie versus Iuri, mixed martial arts, So, one thing about One Champions, we really mix it up. It's not just our world-class production value, this whole, Asian, electrifying, high-octane production that we're known for out here, but it's genuinely a whole plethora of different martial arts where you have legitimately the world's greatest martial arts competing. And so again, American fans have never seen anything like this. It's our unique brand, but yet at the same time, we do have familiar names, legendary names like an Eddie Alvarez or a DJ or a Sage Northcutt or a Vitor Belfort, etc. So you're going to see a lot of new faces, and martial arts at the very highest levels of the world. So something's fresh, new, and exciting.
Thank you.
Thank you, Jim. Next, we have Jesse Holland from MMA Mania with the next question, please. Thank you, Jesse.
Hi, Chatri. Thanks for taking the time today. Can we assume that if you get the response from the stateside audience that you're anticipating and you introduce yourself to a new audience, some of the crossover fans from AEW and the like, is this kind of a springboard into getting live events in the USA? I know I've been harassing you about this for every call for the last couple of years, but I know that some of the longtime fans are still asking, when are we going to get one in the United States? Is this kind of the next step in getting here?
Absolutely. Again, we have every intention of having our first event in the U.S. Again, COVID has thrown a curveball, not just for us, but literally every sports property around the world, right? Every sports league. So right now, U.S. still, when I look at the COVID situation relative to other countries, for example, in Singapore, it's almost zero every day now, okay? In terms of new cases and existing cases at basically zero. So whereas in America, it's still rampant. But the good news is the vaccine is here, and let's hope the whole world gets vaccinated in the next 12 months and borders open up. But I can't wait to get in the States. But TNT, the leadership team at Turner has many times told us they'd love to have one championship here in the U.S. And it starts off with one on TNT.
Thank you.
Thanks, Jesse.
Thank you, Chatri. Thank you, Jesse. Our next question is from Jason Burgos of mixedmartialarts.com. Jason, please.
Hey, Chatri. So for Eddie Alvarez and Demetrious, both of them have been out for a long time. Eddie's been out for 20 months, Demetrious for 17 months. Since this plan to be on prime time for TNT was a plan for 2020 that got derailed by the pandemic, was that the reason why they have been held out so long? Was it something TNT actually preferred, asked, hey, when we start this, we want these two guys on the first show? Or was it more pandemic related and getting into Singapore?
No, I think it was a combination of a bunch of things. I think Eddie was supposed to fight in the final of the Grand Prix in October in Tokyo, but he got injured. And before that, I think he fought in August or something like that. And we want to keep Eddie definitely active. And then February was I think February or March of 2020. DJ was supposed to compete against Adriano. And crazy thing is, Adriano was getting his U.S. green card situation sorted out, so he couldn't leave the country. And then COVID hit, and then it just and then we had this whole backlog of fight commitments we had, and so we want to clear through backlog. But yes, I mean, obviously we were talking to Turner the whole time, and definitely they wanted to see Eddie Alvarez and DJ. And so again, it's just one of these things that through no one's fault. It was just one thing after another, whether it's execution, whether it's just our discussions with Turner just dragged out, and COVID hit, and so everyone's working from home, and just a bunch of things. Yeah, and again, I think Eddie was supposed to compete in the finals of the Grand Prix, but he was injured. So just a bunch of things like that, and that's why we're here. But again, I'd love to see DJ and Eddie fight as many times as possible. If they're healthy, I'd love to see them fight 4 times, this year, or as many times as they want, because I'm a huge fan of both of their work, and it just sucks for all of us, right? I mean, it is what it is. But again, we're back in full force. We've been back in full force since. We came back with live events. First it was June in China, and then it was Thailand for August, September, and then October Singapore, November Singapore, December Singapore, January Singapore, and now we're off to the races.
And looking further down the line in terms of booking, it's good to know Christian's going to be back soon. Good to know that Ong La's come back soon. In terms of Christian, what's the future in terms of after this, or even for Nasyukin if he wins? Is Shin Yaoki back in the picture after his win over Nakashima, or is the Eddie Alvarez Lapiscus fight a likely title limiter? And also, could any update on Brandon Vever? Is him and Arjun Buller likely to get booked maybe week 4, 5, or 6?
Yes, I mean all those are possibilities, and definitely, I think we're really excited to see the storyline between Yuri and Eddie Alvarez. Obviously, it's not a both Yuri and Eddie are obviously KO artists, phenomenal strikers, and phenomenal ground game. It's going to be an absolute war. I think the fans are going to be super happy with that fight. But obviously, the winner and how they win will dictate whether they get immediate title shot or whether it's one more up, right? I mean, because Yuri's ranked number 2 right now, and and of course there's a trilogy fight for Eddie Alvarez down the road with Shinya. But I think again, I'd love to see Eddie super active this year. Barring any injuries, I'd love to see all of our top athletes again. I think this one on TNT platform really is going to showcase our American athletes or give them a chance to really shine.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you, Jason. Our next question is from Nicholas Atkin, South China Morning Post. Nicholas, please.
Hi, Chatri. Can you hear me?
Yes. Hey, how are you, man?
I'm good. How you doing?
Good.
Good to catch up with you. All right. I ask you every time I speak to you, have you got any update on the Atomweight Grand Prix? Is it going to be on one of these shows? Do we know when that's going to happen yet? What's going on with that?
We have signed 7 of the 8. We are in the process of signing number 8, and that's literally the holdup. We were supposed to announce it back in end of December. It kind of dragged out, and I believe we'll announce it in the next 1 to 2 weeks. We just need to sign this one real badass girl, and then we're going to announce the Atomweight Grand Prix. So, yes, it's happening, Nick. 100% it's happening this year, okay? And we will announce.
That's good to hear. Just one more from me. What's going on with Ong La? I spoke to him a week ago, and he said he wants to wants to win that middleweight title back. He said he's got a date for around April. You know if he's going to get a straight rematch with Renier de Ridder, or is he going to have to go through a challenger first?
No. So as I said, on TNT 3, which is the 3rd week of April, Ong La will be competing against Vitaly Bigtash, the trilogy.
Oh, gotcha. Okay.
Former world champions, and the winner will then take on Deridier.
Do we have anything for Martin Nguyen as well?
His fight is in progress right now. I think they're just juggling which opponent it is. Yeah.
Okay. Thanks very much for the updates, Chatri.
Yep.
Thank you, Nick. Our next question is from Tom Taylor, Bleacher Report. Tom, please.
Hi, my first question is for Demetrious Johnson. DJ, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Awesome. DJ, now that you've competed a few times and won championship, how would you say that the talent one stacks up against the talent in the UFC? And where would you say Adriano ranks against the best guys you've been matched up with thus far?
Well, obviously, like Chatri said, the talent pool in one championship is full. I mean, it's stacked. They're all monsters. And, the first... Sorry, I thought somebody interrupted me. And the first 3 fights of my career in one championship were very tough, especially that Grand Prix model, the back-to-back. It's a lot of stress on the body. And when I feel like when you compare the athletes from North America to, Asia, I feel like they've been doing it their whole life. Like, martial arts is embedded in Japanese culture. When you look at Yuya Wakamatsu, Tatsuya Tsuwada, and Danny Kingat, those guys have been doing martial arts longer than I have. I started when I was 16 years old. And as far as Adriano Moraes, he poses a lot of problems. Obviously, he's long. He's a great grappler. Unorthodox striking. But you've been doing this for a long time, and all you can do is go out there and give your best, and go out there and put on a show.
Awesome. Thanks, DJ. Just a follow-up question for the champ, Adriano Moraes. Where do you think, how does DJ compare to your previous opponents? Where does he rank amongst the toughest guys you've ever fought?
Adrian, you're on mute. You got to unmute yourself.
Oh,
Sorry, I was mute. Okay. Hello, Tom. It's like I say, DJ is DJ, man. He's really good, like everywhere. His transition is awesome, man. He's a legend. DJ is DJ, win or lose. I'm gonna there and give my best and try to finish him all the time. It's what I'm gonna do. And for me, it's a good opportunity to be live on TNT. And defend the one flag, man, in USC territory.
Amazing. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you. Our next question is from Andrew Whitelaw from AsianMMA.com. Andrew, please.
Hi guys, can you hear me? My question is for Eddie. Eddie, how you doing? And there's been a lot of talk for a long time now about fight between you and Christian. He seems to want that fight, but first you have a very tough test in the shape of Iuri Lapiscus. Did you see Iuri's fight against Christian, and how big of a test is this for you? And how far away do you think you are from getting that fight with Christian? Do you think a big statement against Iuri will get you that shot?
Yeah, I think a victory over Iuri kind of puts me in the driver's seat to kind of get there. Ultimately, it's up to Chatri, and like he said, it's not about winning the fight, because nobody really cares if you win other than you. It's really about the manner you do it in. Yeah. Going out there, putting on a high pace, putting on a show for the fans. I try to focus on winning, but I can't run from myself. I get hit, and then a fight begins. And it's always been like that my whole career. So I have sort of a plan. I have sort of the way I want to get it done, but I'm sure when we get in there and Iuri hits me and we get in an exchange, that the real winner in this whole thing is going to be the American fans. So I'm excited about it.
Thanks, Eddie. My next question is for Iuri. Iuri, can you hear me? Hello, mate. You were on a wonderful run before you met Christian. How have you been able to pick yourself up after that one, and how much are you relishing facing a legend like Eddie?
Come è andato dopo la sconfitta con Christian Lee, come ti sei ripreso e cosa significa adesso incontrare una leggenda come Eddie?
È andata non diciamo molto bene la sconfitta, però mi sono ripreso tornando sempre in palestra, allenandomi, e ho imparato tanto da quella sconfitta e vedrò di migliorare quello che non ho dato in quel match.
Okay, I translate. Of course, with Christian, it was a tough loss, but I feel like I've learned a lot from that loss. And the answer is always hard work. I get back immediately in the gym, and now I feel I'm 100% ready for Eddie Alvarez. He's a legend. I respect him, but I feel like it's a chance of a lifetime for me.
Grazie mille. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Andrew. Our next question is from Damon Martin from MMA Fighting. Damon, please.
First question is for Eddie Alvarez. Eddie, I know you, when you signed with One, obviously you wanted to stay busy and were looking for a championship. You can't predict a pandemic is going to hit and make you sit out. But can you kind of give me an idea, like, has it been frustrating? Has it been tough, missing out on all of 2020 and now, finally making your return in 2021? Can you kind of give me an idea, like, what the mental and the physical side of being out for a year and a half has been like for you?
Yeah, of course it's been frustrating. This game's about momentum, building momentum, create momentum. But, it was unfortunate. I would have liked to compete in the finals, but pretty busy, twisted my ankle up a little bit, and I had to stay out, And just like I had an unfortunate situation, I think One Championship and the rest of the fight world had an unfortunate situation in COVID. So, none that were within our control, and if they were, I believe we would have controlled them. So, it was just it wasn't the ideal situation for me, and I know that this isn't the ideal situation for One Championship. So, I'm just excited to get back in there. I've been fighting 17 years since I was 19 years old. So if I get a few months or even a year where a promoter doesn't call me for a fight, I apologize, but I'm not the saddest guy in the world. It's a long road for me, and I feel like I reinvented myself over and over and over, and this is just going to be a small road to reinvent myself again, and it'll start with Iuri, and it'll end with Christian or whoever has that world title around the waist.
With that being said, because you usually don't get much time off, as a fighter, you've always been so active. Did the body get a chance to heal up? And can you kind of give me an idea? I know you're not looking past Iuri, but in a way, like, can you kind of give me an idea what an ideal 2021 would look like for you?
Yeah, ideally 2021, I want to fight in April, May, June. I want to fight again in July. And then I'd like to fight again before the holidays or even during the holidays, maybe before Christmas or something like that. So, in a perfect world, I fight 3 times this year. Pretty much back to back, take a small little break, let the body heal, and then get another one in. That's the ideal situation. Whoever it is, it is. I never ever pick my opponents. I think Chatri is good at that. I think the team there, Matt Hume is excellent at making matches and making exciting matches. And I'm sure they'll put someone in front of me that we're going to put on a show. And it never really mattered who my opponent was. I'm going to go out there. I'm going to try to be as violent as possible, put on a high pace, and put something on that fans will love, and that I'll be happy with.
Thanks, Eddie.
Thank you, Damon. Our next question is from Colin Crandall from MMA Power Hour. Colin, please.
Thank you so much. This question is for Chatri. Chatri, can you hear me?
Yep.
All right, so this Wednesday night at 9 p.m., this is going to be 9 p.m. on all coasts, so the East Coast will see it first, and then Central and West Coast, or is it going to be like 9 p.m. East Coast, 6 p.m. Pacific?
Yeah, it's not 9 p.m. East Coast and 10 p.m. East Coast.
So yeah, gotcha. Okay, and this will be a 2-hour long broadcast. Is that right?
Right.
Okay, and so I believe the 2 hours will be kind of like edited or culled from the live event, which is obviously longer than 2 hours. Is that right? So we're getting kind of like the best of, or is there going to be?
No. Sorry, it's going to be live. It's going to be live. I thought you just meant the TNT portion. Yeah, it's going to be live.
Excellent. So then we'll see the entire event.
Right. So on April 7th, we'll be all live. And of course, right now, we have the pandemic going on. So again, right now, April 7th is going to be 100% live for both Bleacher, BR Live, and TNT. And let's see how the rest of the events go. But that's, the plan, the long-term plan is eventually to give something, one on TNT is always live, right? That's the long-term plan. But we have to adapt in COVID. Let's see how it all shakes out. But right now, April 7th is 100% live.
Excellent. Last question for me. I know that you mentioned you would love to have the first event here in the United States. I know so many people are looking forward to that, and I know obviously you don't have a date for that. Is there a city or a state or a venue that you're targeting for that first event?
No, but Eddie keeps on talking to me about Philly, so who knows,
Right.
I can answer that. Let me butt in. That'll be Philadelphia. That'll be Wells Fargo in Philadelphia. Sorry,
yeah.
I'll go.
And I'm pretty sure Eddie can sell that place out. So let's see if the fairy tale happens, then yeah, I mean, it'd be a great story, right? But and again, COVID, right? It's such a wild factor. I mean, we have these new variants, right, coming out of South Africa, UK, and stuff. So it's still touch and go. The rest of the world is still touch and go. But again, the good news is we're back up running, and we feel good about the cadence. And the Singapore government has been phenomenal. We've actually led all of Asia in terms of coming back with international global scale events. Back when we start off in October in Singapore, and so now we're full swing. And that's
Excellent.
right. It's every country, especially in Asia, every country, the borders are shut still. And that's always made it difficult. But again, the Singapore government and One Champion have been working very closely together. So we've been getting special access for all of our athletes. And once we got the cadence underway, then of course, ideally we would have put a DJ or Eddie earlier in the year, probably January, like right now. But the way everything shook out with our discussions with Turner and TNT, etc. They really want April 7th. So actually, they were scheduled for February, I believe, right? Eddie's first, Eddie and DJ were scheduled for, I think, late February. But then at Turner's request, so he was going to be at TNT as well, but at Turner's request, they wanted more time to really market and get their ducks in a row with AEW, etc. So they pushed it out to April 7th.
Absolutely. Well, I'm excited to see it. Thank you so much.
Yep.
Thank you, Colin. Our next question is from Wong Lozada from Inquirer.net. Wong, please.
I think he's on mute.
Yeah. Hello, Bong.
Okay. Hello. Yeah. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
This question is for Adriano. Adriano, can you hear me? There.
Yes,
Can you
we
hear
can
me?
hear.
Yep. First off, what's your game plan for DJ? Is this a knockout win for you? Do you plan on knocking him out?
Yeah, of course. And my game plan is use my Muay Thai, my elbows, my knees, and everything I hate, and go there and finish him. This is I want to finish him up with a special move.
Is this your biggest fight in your career?
Man, I'm the champion. Every time when I go to defend my throne, it's gonna be a special fight, And this time is gonna be against a legend, and I'm gonna do good. I'm gonna put in a show, and I'm gonna finish him in a very good move in a very good way.
Thanks, Adriano. Can I get one question for DJ?
Thank you.
Thanks, Adriano. Hi, DJ. What's up?
Yo.
DJ, Adriano gave out some fighting words. He said that he's gonna knock you out. But what's your response to that?
Been in this game for a long time. I can name out a list of people who said the exact same thing. I can always say I go out there and fight and do my best.
Thanks, DJ.
Thank you so much, Bong. Our next question is from Jack Warren from Knockdown News. Jack, please.
Hi, I have two questions for Chatri. First, with the launch of One on TNT, is the full focus to be doing these shows on Wednesday, or is there still plans to be doing Friday shows or even the smaller One Series or Warrior Series cards?
Yeah. So we are in discussions right now with Turner, and it's directionally going one way in terms of expanding One Championship and our partnership with Turner. And so I don't want to reveal everything right now, but I'll just say that there are a lot of discussions going on, and the first thing is One on TNT on Wednesday nights, and hopefully we have some more news going forward.
And I know you've been working with the Singapore government to get these shows done. How is that process going? And currently, is the plan to continue doing the events in Singapore?
Yeah. I mean, again, like out here in Asia, all the borders are closed. So Japan, Thailand, China, everything's closed. Even Singapore is closed. But because the Singapore government and One Champion have been very closely working together, and again, big kudos and a shout out of gratitude to the Singapore government. They've literally given us special green lane visas for all of our athletes to come in and compete and put on a show. And so the one on TNT series will happen in Singapore right now, from what we can see. But again, COVID changes a lot of things, so we're definitely looking at a lot of different venues in different parts of the world. So But for now, yeah, we can see a lot of events happening in Singapore.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Our next question is from Leon Jennings, Asian Persuasion MMA. Leon, please.
Hi. First question for Chatri. Just wondering, it looks like Save's starting to train again. Could we see him on TNT cards and possibly Peter Belfort finally make his one debut?
Yeah, like I said, I have a lot more announcements to make on, and obviously we do want to bring out, all the most popular U.S. athletes for the U.S. fans to recognize, so they also can see the other athletes of one champion. So, just have to be patient and wait till bout agreements are signed and we're ready to announce. Yeah.
Cool. Second question for Demetrious. You've mentioned some of your concerns about competing with the restrictions and the whole COVID situation. How well prepared will you be for April 7th? And what are the positives you've taken out of the whole situation of 2020?
Obviously, whole COVID restrictions here in Washington State, we were finally open, not fully back up, but we're slowly opening back up. So at ANC, we were training in pods of teams of 7. So it's not like it was back in the day when we had a big group of training partners. So we selected the training partners that was going to prepare me the best to go out there to compete in April 7th. With the whole downtime with COVID, I've taken advantage of it, man. I'm a family man, spending time with my kids, getting them ready for school. There was a point in time when the pandemic happened, I didn't train from, I think, January all the way to, I think it was March or April, or even May, just because our gym was shut down. And the pandemic hit in Washington State, I think it was 5 minutes away from our gym. So we took COVID very seriously. But, we're up back and running and excited for April 7th.
Yes.
Thank you. We have another question from Tom Taylor, Bleacher Report. Tom, please. Thank you.
Sorry, can you hear me?
Yep.
Yeah, you mentioned at the top of this call that you're excited to give Rodtang the opportunity to, sort of introduce himself to North American fans on this big debut card on TNT. This certainly makes a lot of sense, given that he's, one of the most exciting guys in Muay Thai. But following up on that, are there any other athletes on the roster that you're really excited to introduce to Western fans using this platform?
Yeah, so again, wait until our bout agreements are signed, but we have some really, really exciting athletes, both, big names, but also people you've never even heard of that have just insane, extraordinary skills. They're world champions in their respective martial arts and will showcase the highest levels of martial arts. Again, the American fans are in for a real treat, something fresh, something brand new, something totally different that's not available in the U.S. right now. I can tell you the other 2 global organizations, while I have mad respect for them and they're phenomenal, we have a totally unique, different brand of martial arts with the greatest world champions on the planet across all these different martial arts. And Rodtang is one of them. People are going to be blown away when they see Rodtang. When people talk about, what I find kind of funny is when you see American commentators say, this is the greatest striker on the planet. When there's an American athlete or a Brazilian athlete in one of the other 2 global organizations, I can tell you that in Asia, if you want to see the best strikers in the world, come here, and then you'll really understand who the best strikers in the world are. And that's why we're so excited to showcase some of this. Eddie is considered a world-class striker from North America, but he comes to Asia and he's blown away by the level of technical striking out here. DJ, the same thing. DJ came out here, and he's just blown away. He's just, as you were saying, these, I think Americans grew up in, wrestling in high school and have obviously phenomenal wrestling. Just like Brazilians grew up with BJJ. In Thailand, you grew up with Muay Thai, when you're 3 years old, 4 years old. So kicking and punching and kneeing an elbow, it's just a different level. People have never seen it before until Well, when you see Rotang, guys, you'll see a wrecking ball, a real. It's going to be an insane fight against Jacob Smith. Two fighters that come forward all the time, and so yeah. So I'm really excited for American fans, man. Like they're going to see something they've never seen before, in a production value they've never seen before. The highest levels of martial arts in the world. Incredible strikers. Pound for pound, the greatest strikers are in one championship. There's no ifs, ands, or buts. 150 world champions out of 550 athletes. It's the largest roster on the planet, the largest collection of world champion athletes. Full stop, bar none. And American fans have never have ever been able to witness that. So now we're really excited for our partnership with Turner, and that we're going, expanding it.
Great, thank you so much.
Yep.
Thank you. Our next question's from JM Siasat from GMA Network. JM, please.
Hi guys. My question is for Adriano Moraes. Can you guys hear me?
Yes.
Okay. For Adriano, in your next fight, you'll be fighting DJ, and a lot of people think he is the greatest of all time, right? However, when he came over to one championship, somehow, some way, he kind of lost that aura of invincibility. He had a tough. He won his last three fights, but it wasn't easy against Wakamatsu, against Wara, and Danny Kingad. I'm sure you've watched all those three fights. I just want to ask you, what have you learned in that three fights that you think you can apply in your fight against DJ, and in order to beat him?
Yes, of course. For you to fight against DJ, you need to have a good footwork. You need to put it down a good footwork because he's so fast. I think both of the opponents of DJ in the Grand Prix, they didn't work good their footwork. So against DJ, I'm gonna put my footwork to work. I think this is gonna be a good move for me to get him back in the fight.
Okay. Follow-up question for both of you, DJ and Adriano. One of the top guys in the division, and has been wanting to fight you both again, is actually Danny Kingad. He's one of the top contenders in your division. What do you guys feel about giving him a rematch, whoever wins between the two of you guys?
It's for me the question.
For you and DJ, whoever wins.
Okay. Okay. Yes, I remember when I fought against Danny King guy. Danny King, I submitted him really quick in the first round, and but for me, no problem. I can do a rematch for him later. For me, it's not a problem to fight against Danny King again. No problem.
Thank you. What about DJ?
I'm sure I'll see Danny Kingad in the future. I mean, he's a young upcoming athlete. He's with a great team, Team Makai in the Philippines. And fighting him, I just remember he was very explosive. And he's still young. I mean, he's 24, 25 years old. So, I mean, as long as he stays in the game, he's always going to get better and improve. And absolutely, I mean, if he works his way back up to the top of the mountain, where me and Adriano meet, I'm sure both of us would be happy to give him a rematch.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you so much, DM. Our next question is from Jordan Novak. Jordan, please.
Hi, question for Chatri. Can you hear me okay?
Yes.
Hi, Chatri. So after Rodtang's fight in April, he's mentioned in the past some interest in potentially converting and switching over to MMA. Are there any plans in 2021 or potentially 2022 for Rodtang to make that conversion to MMA?
Yeah, a lot of Muay Thai world champions have expressed that, right? I mean, it's no different than how, I don't know, an NCAA Division I wrestling champ wants to cross over to MMA, or Olympian wrestler wants to cross over to MMA. I think that's just, when you're at the top of the food chain in any given martial art, some athletes find it very interesting to go test, in a kind of a less rules format like mixed martial arts. So Rotang has definitely expressed interest. We have Stamp Fairtex, who was a two-sport world champion in Muay Thai and kickboxing in one championship. She's also in MMA. I think she's 5-0 or 5-1 or something like that in the MMA. yeah, I mean, you're definitely going to see crossover. So it's going to be a lot of fun. But the fact that one chapter we showcase all the different martial arts, that's what makes it fun too for our fans. Is like you'll have a world champion in kickboxing, and he or she will cross over to try to be a world champion in MMA or vice versa, and maybe they'll experiment in Muay Thai, and so or submission grappling. So there's we showcase the full spectrum of martial arts in one championship, and so that's something fun for fans and lots of storylines there.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Our next question is from Jackson Rudolph. Jackson, please.
Can you hear?
Yes, we can, but now not anymore. Yeah. Sorry.
Can you hear me now? Sorry.
Yes, we can.
Okay. Just got a couple of questions for DJ. DJ, we've heard Chatri mention several times in this conference already about how you've had some of your toughest challenges in MMA within one championship. And I just wanted to ask, from your perspective, what do you think about one championship and the way that they do things has allowed that? Is it the scouting? Is it the depth of the roster? Is it the timing of the matchups? What do you think has allowed them to bring you those challenges?
I think it's a handful of things. Obviously, you have the hydration testing, right? Usually, when I'm fighting in America, I'm fighting at 125. So I'm fighting guys who are 5'3", 5'4". In one championship, I'm fighting at 135. So the athletes are a little bit bigger. When you're always dealing with a bigger body or bigger, frame, I have to work that much harder, right? It's like moving a bigger piece of meat around. In America, I'm moving guys around that are my size. That's something to be said. Second, when you look at Yuya Wakamatsu, Tatsumitsu Wada, and Danny King, they've been doing it for a very, very long time. I mean, Yuya Wakamatsu comes from Deep, which is a legit organization. Tatsumitsu Wada also been fighting. I believe he was a Shuto champion. And Danny King also a Wushu champion. So these guys, they've been around the sport for a very long time. And like I said, the biggest thing is probably the hydration. Is that when I fight at 125, and when you have to make that weight at 125 and then turn around within 24 hours to be able to compete at a very high level, I think I was probably one of the best to ever do it. I can push the pace while dehydrating myself and taking it to my opponents. Where now nobody's dehydrated. You're fighting a bigger frame. Guys are Adriano was like 5'9", 5'10", I think. Danky, that was probably 5'5". So just tougher guys and just bigger.
Great, thank you. And then my second question is more general. The barbershop debate for every sport nowadays is so popular to talk about who the greatest of all time is. Chatri's mentioned on this call that you're in that debate for MMA. So I guess kind of two small parts here. Number one, is that a debate that you care about? Do you even think about it? And then following up to that, with one championship, what path do you see to cement your legacy, if that is ultimately one of your goals? What do you want to achieve within one from this point until your retirement to be able to say, I think I'm the greatest of all time?
Okay, when it comes to the greatest of all time talk, there's so many athletes that have accomplished so many great things in mixed martial arts. And for me, I like to keep my opinion out of it. Right? I can't walk around and say, I'm the greatest of all time. That's something that the community has to decide for somebody. Like when John Jones is like, I'm the greatest of all time, look what I've done. You can't just say that. My personal opinion, you have to let the community give you that praise, essentially. And for me, to submit my legacy, I have dominated, North America for 6 years as a champion. Now I'm in Asia, trying to submit my legacy over here. Hopefully, I'm ready to become a World Grand Prix champion, which is phenomenal. And to hopefully go out there and capture the flyweight belt, which I know it's not going to be easy. Adriano is going to bring everything that he has, his arsenal, his Muay Thai, his grappling, his length, his strength, his size, and I sort of go out there and compete. And for me, it's about having a successful career, right? Wins or losses are always going to happen, but you want to be a great example for your children, for the world, that you are going to, win fights, and you got to carry yourself as a professional. And you're going to lose fights, and you're going to carry yourself as a professional. As long as you go out there and compete and give it your all, that's all you can do. And that's how I always carried myself since my amateur days, in the very beginning of my career.
Great answer. Thank you, DJ.
Yes, sir.
Thank you, sir. Our next question is from Jeffrey Hu from Kung Fu Kingdom. Jeffrey, please. Thank you.
Hello, hello, Chatri. Could you hear me?
Yes, I can.
Yeah. So, Chatri, so do you have any word about any of the fighters from Team Lakai as to whether they will be fighting on the One on TNT series?
Yes, I can tell you that Team Lakai athletes will be on there as well. I just haven't. I mean, bout agreements haven't been done yet. So again, we just announced, for TNT one. We just announced for April 7th the main and co-main. We announced the main for the April 14th show, and for the April 21st show, we've announced the main as well, the main event. We have not announced the fourth week's main event as well as the rest of the cards for the rest of the events. So, it will come out in the next week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks. You're going to hear more and more bout announcements for the one on TNT.
And also, another question: do you really see yourself as being like, say, a household name for like not just Asia but also in North America and like other parts of the world in the future? Like now that you have like one on TNT.
Yeah, I mean, I think the hardcore fans, One Champ's are very, very well known, right? But we definitely want to become a household brand in America as well. We're a household brand in many countries out here in Asia. We're in 154 countries today. We continue to grow, expand our footprint. Our popularity continues to skyrocket in all of our core markets. But the reality is, we're just scratching the surface. Genuinely, the way I see the industry, there are two giants, one out from the west and one out from the east, and it's effectively a global duopoly. But yet the market opportunity across the world is massive, massive, massive. Until you have 1 billion concurrent viewers, and I'm not joking, 1 billion concurrent viewers watching a show, we haven't scratched the surface yet. And what do I mean by that? Okay, if you look at the Super Bowl, obviously American football is the most popular sport in America. On Super Bowl Sunday, you see 100 million Americans out of the 325 million Americans, East Coast, West Coast, 3-hour time zone, watch Super Bowl. 100 million, 1 out of 3 Americans. If you take that same 3-hour time zone and you apply it to Asia, Asia has 4 billion people. There's 1 billion people in the same time zone. 1 billion. So the theoretical max, you could easily have literally, if you apply that ratio, 4 billion people out here. Nothing's going to stop us from having 500 million concurrent viewers or whatever. I mean, I'm not saying it's going to be one championship, but sports in general in Asia is wide open, and it's very possible that numbers just completely dwarf what America has, just because of population base. So when I look at the landscape, I just feel like One Champion has unlimited growth. There's truly only one other global competitor. So it's a global duopoly, the way I look at it.
Thanks. Can I get a third question for Eddie or?
I think we're running a bit out of time, Jeffrey. I'm so sorry. I kind of have to end this with one final question.
Okay.
That's okay. Sorry.
Thanks.
Thank you. Our final question would be from MMA Mania, Jesse Holland. Thank you so much. Jesse?
Yeah, this question is for Iuri. It's a 2-part question. Iuri, you think you've been overlooked a little bit coming into your Eddie fight because of your performance last time out? You have a really great record. Really been doing good things inside the cage. But do you think you're getting overlooked based on what happened against Christian? And the second part of the question is, do you think that a win over Eddie, somebody with his name and his accomplishments, is enough to get you back into that title fight?
I translate. Lei dice se dopo la una potenziale vittoria con Eddie cosa ti posso dare?
Penso che una vittoria decisiva su Eddie Alvarez, sappiamo che è una leggenda, sappiamo un grande passato e penso che è giunto il mio momento e voglio dimostrare il mio valore e voglio mettere fine alla sua carriera, dimostrando quello che valgo.
Okay. It feels like the time has come for his opportunity of a lifetime. Eddie Alvarez, of course, is one of the biggest names out there. He's a legend. Iuri grown up watching his fights, but is sure that this time is going to be the man who's going to end his career, and he's going to finish him on the 7th of April.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you, everyone. Unfortunately, we've come to the end of our conference call today. I want to thank all the media for joining us. We understand that there are more questions, but I'm so sorry we don't have enough time. But if you have further questions or if you want to schedule some interviews with the athletes, you can always contact us at the 1PR team at 1PR@1fc.com. So thank you, everyone, for your time, and I hope to see you all real soon. Take care.
Thank you, everybody. Thank you.